Hi people, welcome to class. So in this video I'll be showing you how to make this African print earring. It is very easy to make. I want you to have that at the back of your mind. So for the materials, you need an African print fabric. You need a B6000 glue or an Evo stick glue. Either of both is fine. You'd also need a twine and a long needle, but if you don't have a twine, you can use a normal thread that you use in sewing clothes. You would also need a chain. This is like any chain goes for it. This instrument is called round nose. Round nose. You can see how it looks. Then you need this is called a board. But if you can't get your hands on this, you can work with a carton. Either pick a carton of all these products you buy, all these stick cartons. You can also use that. So this is how it looks, but I sellotaped it because I wanted to use it for something. Get anything that has a round shape, anything at all. You can use the cover of your body cream or anything. So what I'm going to do first is pick my pen and then just draw a circle on the keyboard. If you're using a carton, you can also draw a circle on the carton. You're going to draw 2 pieces of that circle. Then next you pick your scissors. Now I need you to have a scissors that cuts paper and a scissors that cuts fabric, because when you mix those scissors together, you make the mouth blunt. So it's time to cut my fabric. So now I'm going to pick a bigger, can you see what I'm picking? It's like a bigger shape of the previous circle I cut. So you need something bigger but not so big. So I'm going to cut out 2 pieces of these on my African print. Now when you are doing this, you have to make sure that you are placing the circle on the same pattern. African print has different pattern, so you have to be sure you are placing this on the same pattern so the earring don't look different. So I just pick my scissors. Now this is my fabric scissors, and then I'll cut it out. There's really no difference, but when you buy the scissors, whatever you start with it, stay with it. If you start with paper, stay with paper. If you start with fabric, stay with fabric. So now this is leather. It's called foam bag. You can always get these materials from those who sell bag materials. So I'm going to cut the same size I cut for the keyboard on this leather. Now I'm using they call this thing, I'm trying to remember the name now. Silver pen, yes, that's it. That's what they use. But if you don't have silver pen, you can always use pencil or biro. Just make sure you are cutting the opposite side so it doesn't show, because this silver pen disappears after a while. So I'll just trace it out like you did with the keyboard. Can you see also have a different scissors for cutting leather? So I'm just going to pick lighter, they just burn the edges. So next thing I'll do is pick my needle, thread it with my twine. If you don't have twine, use a normal thread but double it. And then I'll just pull it down. I want it to be a bit long. And I'll cut. So next now I'll just tie the mouth so it doesn't come out when I'm walking. So I'll pick my African print. Can you see I'm working with the opposite side, the wrong side? So you just do a running stitching. You know how they do running stitching, like inside, outside, just like what I'm doing. So when you get to the end, can you see? Pull out your thread. Don't tie it yet. Then pick the board or the carton, whatever it is you're using, and then now tie both threads together. When you do that, it pulls it together. Can you see that? So repeat the tying, and then this process, I'm just going to pass the thread round because I just want it to hold whatever fabric that is not being held in place. So can you see that? So just like that. Then once I'm done, I'll just tie it like once, twice. Just give it a good tie. Not once, like twice at least, that's the minimum. Then cut. Then I'm going to repeat the same for the other pair. So I'm done. So next I'm picking my gum. This is B6000. This is a glue stick, but I want to work with a glue stick. You can work with anyone. If you just go to those that sell those fabric or those bag tools, just tell them you want to buy a glue stick. They usually have it measured in different bottle containers. So just apply it generously, especially at the edges of the, I don't want to call it earring because it's not earring now, but especially at the edges of the circle wear, that's better. Because you don't want, it's easier for it to open at the circle, at the edges rather. So you repeat the same thing for the leather that will cut out. Can you see that I'm applying it more at the edges? So basically you leave it to dry for a couple of minutes, maybe like 2-3 minutes, and then just gum it around. And then I'll repeat the same thing for the other pair. So if you notice that any excess leather sticking out, you just trim it out. Okay, so I'm done with that. So the next thing you do is you're supposed to use, I'll just pick an hammer and then just make sure the gum stays in place. You repeat the same thing from the second pair. So now this instrument you're supposed to use to pierce it, but if you don't have it, pick your safety pin and then push it inside, just like what I'm doing, all the way to the end, and then pick this round nails. Just use to widen the hole a bit. So once that's, can you see that the hole is widened a bit? So you repeat the same thing for the second pair, but make sure you are piercing the exact, if you're piercing the green part for this first pair, pierce the exact green part of the second pair. And then you just repeat the same thing. So next I'll pick my chain. The chain has opening. Once you pick it, it has a bit of place where you can open it. So you can just see that I just opened it and then I passed it into the hole and I'll close it with this round nose. So I'll count 1, 2, 3 and then open the third one. And then pick my earring hook. Can you see that? Yay! So they usually said this earring hook, those are sell jewelry. You say you want to buy earring hook, and then I repeat the same process. I think I have to. Yeah, just repeat. You see, that's it. Then our earring is ready.